change anything for these next few. Nope, Kog'Maw's still going to get banned away.
I don't think anyone has a reason to change based off the last game. I'm very surprised if they do. I mean, Kog'Maw's a must-ban. Lulu's a must-ban. Alistar, not necessarily.
Was it Graves ban?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the second Graves ban in a row from RNG. So they banned it last game against EPA, opting to ban it away once again. So Gimgoon or Rabbit might have been throwing that one at random teams since IEM.
Well, that makes sense. It's 10 seconds now for EPA's final ban. And they are going to go with Nautilus. I like that ban away. Let Me was very effective, especially in the later stages of the game to help set up the damage dealers there for RNG.
Arguably the most effective, I think, in the way of what he did for his team. Poppy was ridiculous from Gimgoon, but without Let Me there to set the team up, or to even crowd control the person that InSec was hitting, they may not want that year this time around.
I especially like the Nautilus ban here because it kind of forces RNG to decide what their final ban is going to be, because if it's not Kalista, it could potentially be a first pick Kalista from EPA, and saying that, they are going to ban away Poppy from Gimgoon.
It's not Kalista, but it is that Poppy. I do like the Poppy ban, but I feel like Kalista, who is going to be the first pick, gets opened up a whole lot more here for EPA. As InSec, he knows what he's going to do. He's going to go through champions.
Yasuo.
I've tried this once.
How'd it go
Makes up
for you?
for the attack speed. I won. To be fair. You can get Devourer once again.
Yeah.
Get attack speed off that, you know. Synergize as well with Yasuo. Get more Qs off.
Yeah, no. I'm with you.
I don't think you could Vladimir, though. So if we're just going through his top lane champion pool, I'm pretty sure he'll change to something more
Maybe
standard.
there's a sweet lane swap happening. Could also, of course, be Sask's champion as well. Echo Mid was sort of one we don't see too often either, so it does feel like this new look RNG have, I'm going to say, pretty different picks. Last time, though, we got 3 very normal picks to start the draft off, so RNG will maybe keep things sane for now, as they are going to have a Thresh Corki. Potential bottom lane, potential mid laner there. Lots of strong picks, and we've seen late play before. Awesome Thresh player who's actually going to settle on Gragas. So InSec going to play something standard.
Yeah, absolutely. As he should be, to be fair. Gragas is so strong at the moment. I think the less disengaged that EPA have with the Kalista, the better. So it's worth considering. And Rabbit, he's going to be very much aware of the jungler's tricks from RNG this time. And I don't think you can play it more than once.
No, maybe he just gets that 1 year game in his contract. And yeah, he's got it. You got to win.
Well, now Rabbit, he's going to have his choice of jungler in the next few pick rotations for EPA. You mentioned Rusty did a really good job of keeping vision on InSec the entire game, but the question was whether it was worth it, as InSec was getting vision on him return. This time, though, he's playing Gragas, so it's more of a ganking jungler. Might be more effective for Rabbit to keep tabs on InSec and where he's going and who he is going to be able to help. Braum should be the pickup here from EPA. Very surprised that RNG decided to give that one up, seeing that Alistar was banned in this game, but at least will be the pickup in the jungle for Rabbit once again.
Yeah. It's good draft. I would say good second rotation from EPA. Their team composition, as it stands, is amazing. And they don't really need a whole lot more to round it out. They could afford to go damage in the mid lane one more time. LeBlanc again would definitely work. Gimgoon in this top lane pretty much gets free run of whatever champion he would like also, because this is the established roster now. The core of EPA's team is built.
Yep. And again, they're going to start off strong here as RNG are looking through a number of different options here. Again, their drafting was relatively slow in game number 1. They were definitely considering their picks very deliberately. So don't mind that too much. It feels like the team are making sure they know exactly what they want to get here, but they've been mixing things up. We've got Fiora Ashe hovered right now. They're going to swap away. Trundle, not too bad, could be top lane. Actually will be, given that there's a Thresh picked already. But Name is actually going to play Ashe here. Was once a famous Varus player, but I don't quite remember his Ashe in the same light.
Ashe is interesting here from RNG. Now, it is a form of hard engage. You have seen it once, I believe, picked into a Kog'Maw.
Yes.
Kalista's a lot harder to hit.
Correct.
Braum's also very good at blocking said hit. So, for picking this Ashe, you have to question it. In fact, he's only destined to die because he's going to be up against an assumed LeBlanc once again from the public.
Is this the patch where Ashe was slightly buffed?
Maybe.
I haven't got the slightest idea.
I think it was, but maybe not enough of a buff. Focus now drops a little slower, so there is something there for Name.
There's something there for Name. really want to see if he's going to be able to survive as well, if they are going to lock in something like Fiora and LeBlanc. I mean, Ash is able to slow people down, but I don't think you can slow people while you're dead.
Kim Goon's a monstrous Fiora player as well, so he might just be taking that carry. He will. Fiora top, LeBlanc mid. That's the comp finish now for EPA. And again, feels like they've got strong picks, strong lanes. Could be a similar start to them. We'll just see if they can close out any differently as Royal are considering their final pick here.
So Trundle does have a track record of surviving into Fiora lanes. So there should be no real concern with the top lane right now for RNG. I guess there just comes a point where how long are they surviving and not actually killing their opposition? And this is one of the few picks that I actually really like in the mid lane. Susk, evidently an assassin-only player.
Yeah, at least by the hobbits that he's given us. He still hasn't decided on a champion, but he played Echo in the first game. He's going to maybe go for Fizz here. Also at Zed on the Brain Battle looks of things. Pretty skillful matchup no matter what he wants to take here into the LeBlanc, but feels like he doesn't want to control mid, Rusty.
Not at all. Do you find it weird that like Lei is actually his brain for the purpose of picking? So it's like, Sask, you play Fizz and Zed. He's like, oh, I could do Zed. And then it just gets hovered as if they're conversing about the champion.
Now they're going to lock in Fizz here, so Sask will be playing that one against Republic's LeBlanc in this game. The team compositions have been finalized. EPA look very similar, just changing the AD carry and top laner. RNG, this time they don't really have, you know, that cheesy Master Yi, but still a couple of interesting picks, being the Fizz and Ashe being brought to the table for RNG.
What a... Yeah, again, like... I don't mind the Ashe. I actually think Ashe is still quite good, but look at who Ashe is against. And ask yourself, is it worth it, Name? Is your KDA being sacrificed for the team really that worth it? I think RNG playing with confidence, or at least drafting with confidence.
I think a little more standard than their last draft, perhaps, but I will agree. Confident draft here from RNG. We'll have a look at both lineups once again. Fiora, Elise, LeBlanc, Kalista, and Braum is horrifying over on the EPA side, who do need to win this game to force a third. Royal, though, RNB will be RNB. Trundle, Gragas, Fizz, Name playing Ashe, and Leon Thresh, which is definitely a pick to watch for. This man was a well-known Thresh player.
Absolutely. Lei is a force to be reckoned with on that champion. The pick potential is unreal.
Well, it certainly is. We'll see if they can get it done, though. Will RNG get the sweep, or we'll have a third? It's time to start game number 2. We're on to Summoner's Rift for our second time this evening as EPA are going to try and even the score versus RNG, who did win pretty dramatic game number 1 with InSec's Master Yi heading up the charge. We've changed up the drafts a bit, though. It feels like the R&B flavor is still there as RNG, again, I keep calling them that because they've subbed out their starting roster, their usual starting roster, for their sub-starting 5. But nice to see these players finally get a chance to play on the LPL. They did win game number 1. We'll see what they can get done here with Fizz and Ashe. Mostly is the curious picks in this one.
It kind of aids to a pick composition in a weird way. Thresh very good at hooking people, as they might get the Braum passive.
They can actually put a
wow,
video. Exhaust is down. Elise is here as well. Lei's taking a lot of damage. So they are going to trade the exhaust for the flash onto Thresh.
Really? Exhaust? Like really, Jay-Z?
Well, does get the flash. The trade of Summoners coming in, and Keystone Mastery graphics being pulled up here. Warlord's Bloodlust once again for Name. So it's not just the Sivir thing.
He's just on board with the lifesteal. And
Yep.
I mean, to each their own. Everyone plays AD carry in a different way. They will have different strategies they want to put into place, and Name's got the most unique strategies that no one else replicates.
Yeah.
It's just another way of doing that, I guess.
I mean, he's playing Ashe, so I can certainly get on board with unique strategies. But again, sort of like the boots thing for Name. He likes boots too early. It just plays into the same philosophy as him as an AD carry.
An interesting concept behind it is that it actually just gives more lifesteal the more health that you're missing. But the thing with like lifesteal is you want to stay at full health. And so it's almost a counterintuitive Keystone Mastery that says you're going to lose lane and that you still need to stay there.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, Ash in general does have some struggles perhaps, so we'll see how they can navigate this bottom side. Level 2 first there for EPA's duo, and Kalista Braum is about as scary as they get for early level 2. So RNG's bottom lane going to pay the proper respects there as Saskin Republic will do battle once again in the mid lane. Republic had a good-looking LeBlanc game despite the loss in the first one, and Sasuke's changed to a different assassin now with the Fizz, but not expecting the early part of this lane to go too well for him.
And for reference, Fish, the reason that they even got the Kalista Braum is because they had to take Thresh away. And like Jay-Z's Thresh is phenomenal, and it's a Thresh Kalista comp.
That's fair. Fair that you would take a strong support away from one of the stronger players. Him and Gimgoon both got a ban and a pick taken away from them in this match. So we're going to have to see if Lei can use that to his advantage here, but like you mentioned as well, Kalista and Braum still a very, very strong bottom lane synergy duo that doesn't only do well in the lane, but transitions to the mid game fantastically. Take a look at Rabbit now. He's moving in towards the jungle of RNG side. Nothing new here. I think InSec's familiar with this spider creeping up inside of his jungle the entire game. Sass now, he's taking a lot of damage. Republic gonna put the Ignite down. Fizz puts his onto her in return. Escapes with a sliver of health. LeBlanc is fairly healthy and may just stick around.
Now, there's no potions available for Republic, nor Sask. So, whilst the minions push into Republic, he'll be able to collect these ones. But also getting knowledge that Sask is recalled means that Republic will have to do the exact same thing, or you run the risk of dying when he makes it back.
And seems like InSec is off to the side as well, so he's going to shove this wave in. Oh, Republic stayed. But he knows now he wants to stay because he doesn't want to lose his creeps, but...
Well, now he could, yeah.
InSec just going to make sure this goes straight into turret. Saska's finished that back. He's going to go for a Doran's Ring. Republic stuck here with just that Doran's Ring himself. So, Flask filled back up there for the Fizz. We'll see if they can make something happen as they're going to go towards this red buff. Rabbit, though, he's going to take it safely. He just has to get out safely now.
Immediate rotation as well. Just knowing they had the health advantage because Republic had to go back. Had no mana to his name. No potions to sustain mid. So Sask just rotates with him. Tries, but doesn't succeed.
And that means that Sask is going to fall slightly behind in CS in this mid lane as well. He's about 10 behind Republic for now. Did bow his flash earlier and Republic was able to save his. He's going to have to see if that will impact the flow of this mid lane at all. And taking a look at the bottom lane now, Name, he's slightly ahead here, pushing Moon into his turret, the new AD carry for the side of EPA.
So Ashe has been defined as a direct counter to Kalista. That's a long-standing theory. Very rarely do you see it work, though.
Let's take a look at Sassy. He's going to try and dodge the Cocoon. Nice flash Cocoon from Rabbit. We'll be able to lock him down. He's going to try and escape with a sliver of health, but no, First Blood will go over to Republic.
And that was just well done from Rabbit. To be able to hit the flash Cocoon over that many minions was super impressive. That's a nice First Blood, though, that goes over to Republic in particular. Accelerating the mid laner as well.
InSec's also down here, so trying to get something done in a different lane, but isn't going to get spotted this time. Now going to find them, but the rest of the team not on the same page. Flash Hook's going to go in, but Lei is going to just miss him as Jay-Z flashes out of the way.
And Lei actually aiming for the flash as well, but Jay-Z too fast. Those fancy feet going to get out perfectly fine. Close. No cigar for RNG this time around. In fact, still nice to see InSec ganking. Opposed to being Master Yi.
I think has to probably a little bit more ganking this game around from old InSec.
I hope so.
Well, there's one in the bottom lane at least. Just let me in. Gimgoon still going to battle. Gimgoon got a nice wave built here in that top side, but Latme's just going to farm it as best he can under that turret. Trundle, never usually too bothered in most of these matchups. The Sask has returned to that. Mid lane has a null magic mantle, so the sensible Abyssal Scepter will be coming out first.
Yeah, very much necessary from both of these guys, to be perfectly honest with you. They need the resistances because they do too much damage to each other.
Taking a look at the bottom lane once again. Still going to be relatively even here, but look at this. LeBlanc is going to try and get around the side here. Name might be in a bit of trouble. The Braum passive is put onto him. Exhaust is put down as well. The stun will come out from Moon. But we are going to see a teleport come down from Let Me as he's going to flash and eat a clone.
InSec's here though. Is he level 6? No, not quite, but he's going to try and make something happen. No flash. Oh, he does have it, excuse me, but can't quite close the distance, and that was awkward.
What a disaster.
What a disaster. Name lives though, so that's the good thing, I suppose, that came out as RNG successfully defend their bottom laner. But Gimgoon's now with his TP and free time in this top lane. as RNG. They try and make the early game play this time around. They don't fall behind for it, but they're not successful either. So I'm going to say slightly improved from game one, but EPA more than comfortable with the position they're currently in.
Absolutely. It was take solace in the fact that nobody died, so there was no mistakes too overly aggressive. This is interesting.
They're actually going to find Rabbit inside this bush. Lei was not expecting that. The InSec's going to take the magical journey into the team of RG. Gimgu's coming down. Can't be matched by Let Me. He used to teleport earlier, and Lei will go down. He was actually looking a bit bloodthirsty, trying to kill Elise instead. Not done yet as Republic. He's trying to lock up InSec. He's not level 6. The 2 chains will go down. The fish will come up. Republic will flash into it, taking that damage, and the CC will allow the jungler to get away.
Yeah, flashing after it already latched onto him is a big mistake there from Republic. In saying that, InSec's still going to get out with his life. And that dive from RNG, it didn't even matter that Rabbit was in the bush. They were trying to dive a Kalista who has summoners, and Gimgoon has the teleport as the advantage. Knowing that Let Me didn't have his, they still willingly did it.
And now Nami's in trouble as Rabbit's going to go for the dive this time around. Ash with no flash. Absolutely no hope there, as Elise able to take it.
Kalista just flashed forward to try and secure a kill as well. Aggressive stuff here from EPA. It's very nice this early, once again getting themselves a lead. As needs to be done, evidently against this RNG side based off game one.
Seems very, very unique play style. Not so much unique, but very... What's the word for it? I can't find the right word. Consistent play style from EPA, where they want to be very far ahead when the laning phase starts, and they're very strong in the laning phase. But once again, they need to try and turn this into something once the laning phase ends. They weren't able to do it in the previous game. Now they're not playing against that scaling Master Yi. They're playing against a National Fizz instead.
Like, they're a new team that just tunnels on Baron. They just need to look for win conditions that aren't the Baron, and EPA will be a drastically better team. But that's also something that comes with experience, because Baron is the easy way out.
So talking about win conditions here. Yeah, last game we saw RNG, their win condition. Let's get Master Yi as fed as possible and team fight with him. This game, they look more like a team fighting team, and EPA similar as well. What do these teams, or what are these two teams really looking for?
It's still a similar thing to last game, honestly. I mean, RNG's actual way of engaging is different this time around. They're a pick composition, so there's a lot of strength in the Ashe, Thresh, and even Fizz to an extent being a part of the composition. Gragas, if he flashes aggressively, can catch people out, so they're very much a pick composition, and they have the added solace of the ability to team fight.
Yeah, and again, it feels like we're getting in a pretty similar story here. RNG showed off good team fighting and some quirky picks in the first game, and I think they'll probably do the same thing here again. They've got the Trundle backup. If things go later, Let Me can definitely really get going and just start split pushing. He's against the Fiora, and it feels like Fiora late always gets things going, so I think on balance, it's probably relatively even, maybe a little favored for Gimgoon, especially given his pedigree on the champion. But EPA, Rusty said it already, their plan's always the same. Snowball the lanes and try and win.
Yeah, and the problem with that is by snowballing the lanes and trying to win, they do predictably go towards the Baron. So, I mean, looking at what EPA can do on this map, they have a lot of other capabilities. The Fiora, at least early and mid, can out-split push the Trundle, especially given the advantage that Gimgoon has right now. I feel like they just don't use everything that they have.
Talking about Gimgoon really quickly, he's someone who has really impressed me in this series so far. His last game on Poppy, he had some fantastic teleports, and let's just exclude the couple of kills he got early by just wandering into the jungle of RNG and just slapping someone for a couple of damage to pick up a kill. But after that, he was always in the base when his teleport was up, using the home guard advantage when he teleported, and he got nice flanks onto RNG consistently. This game as well was able to out-rotate Trundle, picked the right time to teleport, picked up a kill for his team, and I hope that he's able to continue doing that in this match.
I mean, Gimgoon's just a straight-up good player, to be honest. We've seen his mechanics in duels. He always finds a way to outplay someone, and the jungler comes and ruins his day. He clearly understands what he wants to be doing, but it's a team issue here for EPA, and we're going to start discovering this as we get through more of the league. Week 6 now is, I think, an interesting halfway point in some ways for a lot of the teams, because we are, again, halfway through cross-conference now, with this being the last week of cross-group play. I think it's no surprise to me that RNG are changing their team now, because teams are going to start to really learn about themselves. Because eventually, like, playoffs are far away all the time, but we're going to get there sooner rather than later at this point.
I do think RNG is just adding like the cool effect to their team right
Yeah.
now. So they've actually just gone to IEM, and this was one of the flags that we raised when we looked at RNG coming into this tournament. They've been at IEM, they've played a whole lot of games when they were over there. It's very taxing to travel 2 destinations back and then come back to China and try and perform on the big stage. just give them a break. We have actually got 5 people sitting back that can play this game willingly. That's exactly what they did, I feel like, here. And eventually RNG will come back, but for now, RNB, big shoes to fill.
And they've done it with a little bit of flavor as well, throwing Master Yi into the first game.
You can't control InSec.
Well, they can't control their mid lane and bottom lane either. They've gone with Fizz and Ash.
Oh,
as
hey,
well.
no, Name's... I will always defend Name's AD carry, even if he's playing like, I don't know,
Teemo?
Master Yi. Yeah, Teemo. I'll defend Teemo AD carry. How about that? As Name's just... He's an awesome player. Again, these type of champions suit him. I think Ash, like Rusty was mentioning before, like it's okay into Kalista. I can see where the theory lies there as well. RNG, they're going to do some of their own stuff here, but in general, I think the game plan is solid. And these are players that are going to really benefit, despite their experience, from actually getting to play in the LPL this year.
I don't know you anymore. I called you a good person for never playing mid lane Master Yi. Now you're going to defend as Teemo. I don't understand, but
Only Name's AD carry Teemo.
Fair credit to them. They have been playing solid.
Yeah, and just to touch back on that as well, the merit behind why people actually go for Kalista into Ash is solely because you can predictably hit the arrow. You know where she's going to jump. The problem with that is the more items you get, the more mobile Kalista is, and we look at the 2v2. It's not a 1v1 Kalista Ash. There's a Braum to block it.
Well, right now the lane's been going okay. Ash's range helping out as we do pop back into the game. Gimgoon was looking to get aggressive as InSec's farming up that top side. Krugs right on top of a very nicely placed pink ward there from Energy Pacemaker. InSec, though, just busy farming right now. As Runic Echoes is almost completed, at least though pretty similar as far as the build goes. And then we're going to settle back into a bit more of a calm game. Once again, it's been an early start for EPA, but the gold lead is significantly less massive this time around.
That's right. Last game we saw when they were about 3 to 4 kills ahead, they had 4,000 gold in their back pocket over RNG, and that was with no turrets taken as well. This game, still no turrets going down, but with 3 kills, only just about 1,500 gold ahead. Meanwhile, Rabbit, he's going to find Insect inside of his own jungle here, but here comes an Ash arrow. A little bit of a miscommunication there as the ultimate is going to knock him away. Might not matter too much, but we are going to see the Fizz jump forward. He picks up a kill here. He's looking to try and take down Republic as well.
Well, he's going to look for it, but Republic's going to chain him up and walk away. And that one's not a combo there, the old Ash Gragger salty. But Name on point to try and help his team out. InSec on top of it, though.
Covering their bases,
Yeah.
of course. Running that direction was Rabbit when he was caught out. InSec knocking him back towards the Fizz, though, most importantly, picks up the kill. Now Fizz is on the board, as that was cute. That was really cute on multiple levels. There was a dodge with the W, the distortion from the Blanc, stopped all the Q damage from Fizz, and then he used his E on the chains. No one hits anything, everyone uses everything.
Seems like that mid lane matchup to me.
Yep, basically.
Lots of things happening there.
The trickster against the deceiver.
Yeah, ooh, I like it. Except one of them's a fish.
He's still a tricky fish.
He is a title trick.
What do you have
that's
against
true.
Fish?
One's a person. Like,
All right,
oh no.
look.
Come on. Come on,
Okay,
Pastry.
okay, I agree with the guy. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Fish can be tricky.
Fish are very tricky.
Have you not
Yes.
seen that fish that's got like an eye, like the light that like baits other
Oh,
animals?
yeah, the
He's got
lantern
big,
fish.
that's
They're
tricky
awesome.
as
Yeah,
hell.
Okay, no,
fish.
you got it. All right.
They're
you guys are
awesome.
right. I'm just going to brush up on my marine biology, clearly.
You better.
After
You've
this-
got to work with me,
If
mate.
Sas wins this game, I think I might have to. As he is still farming up quite nicely. Level 9 now. As things are going relatively well. RNG again with a kill in their back pocket to even the gold up a little bit now. Or at least get some back for themselves. And we should be settling in for, I'm going to say, a relatively normal laning phase by the looks of things. Not too much action happening right now. Although Dragon is a consideration. RNG actually just moved their bottom lane out after pushing away Vim.
Yeah, they've got control of this bottom lane RNG between Lei and Name, whether it's just minion manipulation. They still have got a semblance of control. In other words, Moon and Jay-Z are stuck under the turret, which does give the option to control the dragon area or kill Rabbit.
They're actually going to try and do just that. They spot him out trying to clear the ward. The Fizz is not going to connect thanks to the repel, but they're still going to be able to take down this spider. A little bit of an overkill coming in from Insect.
Just really wanted the kill.
Still thinks he's Master Yi. There's no other way to describe it.
That is actually a perfect way to describe InSec as a player. No matter the champion, he will always think he is Master Yi.
Like,
He is the embodiment of the champion.
Who's Sass? It's not like he's playing some assassin mid laner that requires a lot of gold or anything.
Nah, he got one before.
Yeah.
It's all about equality.
I give you blue buff, you give me kills.
Well, RNG also got the dragon, so some advantage there as Republic was looking for a roam top. But could not convert on that one.
You know what? There's absolute merit to that. And the only reason that I would say that is if they take the small sentries with the blue sentinel. because they're like 20 gold a pop. So like, you get all 3, I'm getting every kill if I was the jungler. Like that's just blatant daylight robbery.
I don't know. I take kills as a jungler. I take blue buffs as a jungler. I tax Rusty's lanes. He goes off of
You're
me.
a horrible person.
You're basically the spirit of Master Yi also.
Yeah.
You are not to be trusted. EPA looking for something bottom side perhaps. Name pretty easy to dive on the old Ashe. That's one of her pretty major drawbacks. Although RNG do have some good vision in place this time, so not going to be surprised by the dive as actually EPA will instead move over and just take that blue buff away. Although Lay's
risky.
Trying to make the difference.
Ooh. Almost gets it, but look at this. Lay's still got to jump in. They managed to fly Rabbit back, but he will be able to repel out and get away for now as the Fizz ultimate will connect. The playful Trickster will come out. RNG back on even in the scoreboard.
Yeah, the Fizz is putting in work right now. And Name decided he didn't even want to take the Lantern just in case he somehow ran a risk of dying. RNG, though, they're making pick after pick. Ashe Arrow, Thresh Hook, Fizz ultimate. All of the tools in the shed.
This was really cute, though.
But it's actually just a great hook from Rabbit. Onto Rabbit, sorry, from Lay. Name still covering the bases with the juke, I suppose, as well. There's a lot of, I guess, merit to having all of the pick available to them at once. If you throw it at every direction, one of them will hit.
Well, managed to get it done there. As Republic going to go over for his blue. Gimgoon actually doing a jungle impersonation for now. As Sask looks a little bit better on the Fizz. 2-1-1 so far. Still behind in CS. But in the matchup, maybe not too unexpected. He's getting kills, though, and RNG definitely playing the early game a bit more together.
And this is the beautiful thing about Ashe as well, is the Hawkshot's global. You can spot people at all times, and good Ashe players are so much more noticeable because you randomly see the map lit up. Like, he's got the timer on blue buff right now. That was where Name just used his Hawkshot. He knows it's taken, but conveniently spots Rabbit in the tri-bush whilst doing that. So, Ashe, her Hawkshot's insane.
Name already showing his proficiency on this champion. As we just saw, Gragas was able to take away the Rift Herald. So RNG going to pick up another objective for themselves. They have a dragon. They have the Rift Herald as well. No turrets have been taken down in this game just yet. And it's completely even on the scoreboard. So, and with that, RNG have a very, very slight gold lead. No longer behind in gold, which saw EPA was controlling early Republic. Just getting a little bit of damage down onto his Fizz, harassing him every time he comes forward to take any minions. We may see a collapse in the mid lane. Even Gragas is waiting to try and get towards there.
Well, I can see RNG now even. We'll see how they can navigate the mid game because they'll be in a much different position from the last game. We are looking for a gank by the looks of things. Lay's actually roaming in, but it's going to be 2v2 rather soon. JZ also there, but Rabbit's also in as well, so it's 3v3 as InSec moves in from the left-hand side. Republic's clone going to walk past them, but a lot of cooldowns burnt already as Name's arrow once again flies in just for some vision. No one dies this time around, though.
Yeah, nobody goes down. EPA, they respond appropriately this time around. It's not someone just completely left to the wolves. RNG, still unfortunately Name is yet to make one of these accurate. And he's really trying.
All Republic, though, is going to die to Sass, but can he live?
Yes, no. Damn it.
How many ticks are in an Ignite fish?
Last tick of Ignite, by the looks of things, does take him out.
That's why I'm not a mid laner.
You tried. You definitely tried. Of course, he was pretty close to going down anyway. I will say the teleport from Gimgoon was almost a failsafe in that respect, and we are going to see Sask actually using that very offensively. The unfortunate thing here, he took the turret. That was the one thing he didn't want to make happen, but he did.
Well, gets the kill at least, so nice little aggressive plays. He's going to have that Lichbane coming up soonish with the Sheen now picked up into the inventory. In second lane, looking for another roam, though. And no mid laner yet to gank, because Name seems like he's been left alone for a while, but the essence of it has been completed. So first items up for both these AD carries. Blade of the Ruin King, QSS.
Oh, wow.
As Republic, this is dangerous.
Just use his W, so it might be go time. Nice body slam flash come in, but he might have saved him.
He's over there?
Republic, that was the wrong one. Once again, they've gone for the clone. Lane now is actually going to get locked up underneath turret. JZ, the baller, gets a solo kill onto his rival support. Look at this. Name is going to use the hawk shot, try and find this LeBlanc. Fizz is still trying to chase down this assassin. Oh, it misses. He just sees through the arrow. Republic
Is it executed?
might get executed.
Maybe.
Yes,
Wow.
it is! Wow!
And not a miss fish. Republic jukes it with a distortion. Goes back to another W as Name's first arrow was almost going to hit somebody in this game. This was the great escape by Republic and InSec's ulti.
Where'd he go? Oh,
What a
hello.
mechanical god, though. This is RNG was so confused because he was in the middle of a minion wave. Also, have a look at his color. Might be deceptive.
Yep.
Also, just saying that that dodge on the Ash arrow was phenomenal. The Republic has really been showing off his mechanics.
Well, it's the one thing we know him for, so nice to see LeBlanc once again having a good game. But the series is still in RNG's favor. As this particular game, nice and even, still 19 minutes in, with everyone still building in towards those first initial items. Feels like, again, we've just had a normal landing phase with some really wacky things happening as both teams are trying to get people into lanes to get ganks off.
Fizz was almost teaching us how to count as well. If only he had a little bit less CS. Oh. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
We almost got there. Sask has got most of the kills, though, on the Assassin, so that's the point I actually wanted to bring up, is that's a very big deal for EPA to deal with. It's also a big deal if RNG misplay it in any way, shape, or form, because Sask is the primary damage dealer now for their team.
Yeah, the Fizz has a lot of damage, especially with the Abyssal Scepter complete. He's going to look for the Lich Bane next as well. And look at this, Rabbit once again being hunted down by the Fat Man.
And InSec is just such an aggressive player. He's constantly hopping over that wall, looking to see if he can find somebody. And RNG in general, or this iteration at least, seem to be playing pretty far up wherever possible. As InSec is actually going to start the Dragon. There's a ward in the back, which I believe he saw with his sweeper, but RNG are going to start it anyway. And this Dragon, there's just no one here to respond for EPA.
There's one thing I've noted about RNG, or InSec in particular, is that he just disregards vision as a thing. I just watched him in the first game kill a Baron, or attempt to kill the Baron with his team, in a situation where there was a ward watching him. It's just not, you know, like, it doesn't matter.
Not to InSec.
No. Oops.
What is with this week of the LPL? It just seems like mid laners don't get blue anymore.
That was a mistake.
Well, I've seen quite a few mistakes.
Well, I've no idea. Like,
days.
so, like, thinking about this, right, between the jungler and the mid laner is you want it to get to enough health as the jungler that the mid laner walks over, uses his spell, takes the blue. Republic used it too soon.
Poor mid laners. I feel
No, Rabbit used common sense. Republic was like, I have all the burst in the world, and gets it stolen.
Oh, mistakes coming in from Rabbit here, but I don't think InSec has the same sentiments. We saw him just valiantly steal a kill with his cask earlier. See if it's going to repeat for
Tried
the
to
rest
steal
of this
another
game.
one too. That one didn't work out so well. The Republic was able to get away from that one. He's now bottom side, again looking for that Ash, but already back towards the tier 2. He's been constantly left alone as well.
They've put so much pressure onto this bottom lane against RNG. We constantly see Republic, we constantly see Rabbit trying to roam down to the bottom lane, putting on a lot of pressure.
Well, that's the problem with rotating down there twice. Republic almost lost his turret for it. In fact, it is only one push away. Champion's not even required. Minions could probably take it with how low it is.
Yep. And it's just funny to see Lei roaming all the time, but impressive that Ash has kept up in CS nicely. Once again, for a bit of a brief history lesson, this is something Name's used to. Used to play with a very old school Chinese support player called FCZF who loved to leave the lane. So I think Name knows what to do in these 1v1/1v2 situations. And despite the pressure, RNG have been doing really well in their lanes this time around. EPA and the regression has not been able to get to them.
Well, he has been doing fairly fine. Has his Essence Reaver built up on Ash? I'm not quite sure again.
But you know what? That's fine.
Well,
Because he has his Essence Reaver built up. It's got
alright.
cooldown reduction.
Even a broken clock can be twice once a day. I'm sure one day he'll be able to hit one of those arrows. But Essence Reaver on Ash, I don't know why this is being picked up. Could you enlighten us, Mr. Rusty?
Because Ash uses lots of mana. That's just plain and simple. I mean, the double entendre of that is you can throw out more arrows, you can hit more people with it, and it's got a lot more utility for staying bot lane and making picks elsewhere around the map. But primarily, Ash is just like Lucian in the way that you need the mana.
Yep. Pretty standard stuff.
Because
here.
the W actually is one of the best trading spells in the game.
And an immediate response coming in from Moon as well. He picks up a QSS before even finishing his Zeal item. So he does not want to get locked down by this arrow. In fact, any of the CC that RNG can potentially put out. Maybe the fish that Sasuke, who's able to take down that mid lane turret, can throw at him later on in the game.
And being able to naturally take a turret is good stuff there for RNG, as they're actually 2-0 up as far as structures go. They've got the 2 dragons as well, so starting to build some semblance of a gold lead here. 23.5 minutes in, getting fairly long into this particular laning phase. But they're up 2K. It feels like they're happy to play a more patient game and farm it up. We've seen what they do when they group, although InSec may be caught out here. He's going to get locked up by the chain. Sass going to come in and try and save him. He gets himself over the wall. Republic eats the fish. Sass going to go over, but he's been exhausted, and Republic will be on the great escape once again. The Lantern, though, is going to save the fish this time, as the arrow's looking, but he's not going to find.
No, it hit.
Oh my god, Rabbit! Absolutely wrecked.
Name hits his first ultimate of the game, connects onto the Elise in a very clutch situation to ensure that kill was actually secured. The rest of EPA were rotating to try and keep him alive. Republic, however, showing once again that he's really good at not dying. Like, really damn good at it.
Certainly is. So we are going to watch this again.
InSec was caught as well. Really caught. They forced his ult. Republic never says die. And this is Rabbit. Hyper aggression. I believe does not. And this is where the arrow is just like, oh, nice. You know, like, well timed from Name.
It was like a cross-map alley-oop setup there as Let Me TP's in, and Rabbit catches the arrow straight to the face. Is he in trouble? InSec down the bottom side, though. He's going to get the slowdown onto Brom.
Okay.
Hook's not going to land because stand behind me is going to get him to safety. And no ulti yet. Means that InSec can't complete that one.
Very unfortunate.
Unfortunate indeed for InSec. His ultimate is back up and available now, so could potentially impact another part of the map. Both the junglers are going to be hovering around this bottom lane. And they do spot one another, but Name's got some decent damage onto this turret already. Against the rapid fire cannon as well. We saw that proc earlier against the turret, trying to poke it down as much as possible, but now Rabbit, he's going to lock down InSec.
Yeah, InSec could be in a bit of trouble, but Lantern is going to get them out to safety. RNG just trying to siege this turret, making sure that they can get the damage done. Ashe surprisingly good in this situation. Haven't seen her in a while, so people do forget.
Also wasting a lot of the Kallista's mana by forcing her to use her rend to last hit 1 minute at a time. It's inevitable that that does start to fall down. Also, one of the more disorienting things of Kalista versus Ashe is when the W connects onto Moon. It's so awkward trying to A-move or even dash between auto attacks.
So once again, the laning phase is coming to an end, and EPA not quite able to keep up against RNG. They are 4,000 gold behind RNG right now. They're losing turrets left, right, and center. Gimgoon is going to try and equalize this back a little bit and pick up one for himself. But Trundle is still up there to help him out. Republic's actually moving up to the top lane as well, so they're looking for a little bit of something sneaky.
I don't think they're going to find anything, but they are.
Just some creep waves. He's going to stay safe. Oh, Moon gets... Oh my god, he actually QSS'd it off.
He thought someone was about to kill him.
How else did you know?
But he has wards everywhere.
Just Name with the dragon, though. Nice little arrow. Going to disrupt that Kalista, and that's dragon number 3 right into the hands of Royal Never Give Up. Starting to get that as a win condition for themselves as well. It really feels like, even though it's been a relatively deliberate game as far as the pacing goes, RNG just building a bigger and bigger lead here. They're playing much calmer than they were in the last game. Or maybe EPA just aren't able to find as much aggression.
EPA aren't being as respondent to the passive advantages that RNG are getting. And, I mean, again, this comes down to team composition. This is a standard RNG this time around. And what we're seeing is a much more standard securing of an early game and translation towards the mid-game, late-game victory.
You have Sass now in the bottom lane. He's going to be pushing this one out to the inner turret on the bottom lane. Fiora from Gimgoon is going to be sent down to meet him and stop that push as soon as possible. Republic just casually shoves out the mid lane. And EPA, they look a little bit lost right now. Being 4,000 gold behind RNG with the laning phase over, just can't seem to put together what they want to do. Sass does indeed want to try and look for a pick onto Fiora here. Would he be able to fight her?
Probably not. Riposta is very easy to use against a Fizz. You know, there's kind of a very obvious window against the burst, so Sass could have to get super creative and probably hold off on the ultimate use until the riposte was used. Mind games. That's all it is.
I feel like Fizz would just end up like activating W and just go up and auto her.
Well, exactly. That's what it'd come down to.
But I'm not sure you're going to win the auto trade, unfortunately. And Sass gets here to clear this wave out in the top. Republic not able to get that as he was split pushing in that top side. You can see Let Me, though, is actually pretty strong right now. Titanic Hydra done, Iceborne done. QSS, because he does want to duel this Fiora, it seems, and Sharum's Fist will probably Asterix. We are going to start the split push battle off. Both pretty much 2 damage items for both of them here. But Trundle will be Trundle, as RNG is trying to break this up already.
Yeah, that is the I don't want to die to Fiora and I want to split push item in a QSS. So smart decisions here from Let Me, actually baiting right now.
He's actually going to find out Gimgoon here, put the pillar down. It's going to be InSec that's trying to run up. Actually, ultimate was popped from Trundle as well. Gimgoon doesn't care, he's just going to go back to farm the Krugs.
Got lifesteal, so it should be okay. There's Gimgoon trying to create as much side lane pressure as he can. InSec is busy clearing out wards, though, trying to fish for a gank here and there. Does have most of his item build finished as well, just waiting on the Iceborne Gauntlet as Fizz has gone back, and that's a Zhonya's picked up, I believe, now after that Lichbane and Abyssal. So, again, RNG still scaling, not quite the same as game number 1 perhaps, but still getting their items up and looking good. It's just a matter of transitioning this into a bigger lead. And I feel like when EPA, we've seen it a lot from this team. When they can't get the momentum going, they will struggle a bit. We already were worried about the mid to late game decision making in game 1 when they were ahead. And I feel like when behind, it's just going to be exacerbated.
Yeah, they've got 2 items spike though on most of their players and 3 for their mid laner. So if ever there was an opportunity for them to turn on the aggression, try and make something happen, you would hope it's sooner rather than later. Unless they are really banking on that late game team fighting with the composition they have in place.
And I honestly don't think that that's something EPA should be looking towards, especially after we saw how RNG were able to team fight later on in the game, despite being so far down. Yeah, to give them credit, they didn't have a Master Yi, but RNG have already shown late game they know exactly what they want to do and how they're going to do it.
You can feel that free gold there as well. It was ever pointed out. Lots of towers nice and low, but RNG still defending them all. EPA still don't have a turret, so they have a really constricted rift to work with at this point. And RNG, it's kind of what's holding their gold lead in the place that it is right now. And the longer they keep EPA at bay, the better it's going to be for them. So they're only going to continue to power up with the gold that they've gotten. Republic still split pushing in those side waves, though. LeBlanc is trying to collect as much farm as she wants. And at this point, almost at a stalemate. RNG have a lead, but no one's really wanted to pull the trigger on something like a Baron just yet. And RNG, to their credit, dragging up in 140. They seem to be waiting between spawns right now.
Doesn't seem like they're waiting, and I think that might be the right decision coming from RNG. Just wait it out and force the goal lead to get larger and larger for themselves, and then try and execute the end of the game as soon as they have a decent size of gold. And it's not just going to become ineffective just yet. Now they're going to group up here. InSec moving in towards the mid lane. Fizz and Ash are close by as well. Trundle is still going to be moving down to the bottom lane to continue his split push. Both him and Gimgoon have their teleports available. You're going to have to see which split pusher is going to be more effective.
Well, they're running into the 5th dragon now as an actual concern for EPA. So number 4 should be something they look to fight. And realistically, if you're EPA with a minute left or 50 seconds, recall, get pink wards, set up for it, and actually take it. But RNG, they've already got control of the area. InSec is a vision-heavy man this game. All I have seen him do is clear and place vision at all times.
Well, refreshing, I suppose, from the Yi he was playing earlier, as they are going to get the red buff here as well. EPA is not really in position to try and contest for it. And RNG going to get plenty of vision as they do move towards that dragon. 30 seconds now for that one.
They need Republic. He's top lane still.
Republic is top lane
Now
slowly making his way down. Even Let Me is making his way down to the dragon. He's actually going to take a red buff first. Republic's going to take
it's just gone.
So that's 4th dragon.
You would have to imagine there's no way they're contesting. Like, why else would they have LeBlanc so aggressive? They may want to Baron. Seems to be where their focus lies.
Let Me's going to check as well, so good instincts there from RNG. I don't think they have a Warden just yet, but Let Me's in the area to try and get something done. All right, they do now, so... I mean, EPA, they're not quite sure. You can tell they're very indecisive, as the Dragon's just going to go straight over to RNG. EPA going to get the info probably a little too late. They don't even pull the trigger on the counter Baron.
Oh, wow. Interesting. There is a door there. Don't be fooled. He's stunned.
Yep.
That's all right.
Sask demonstrating that one for us, but Dragon number 4 here for RNG, starting to get further and further ahead. And now real timers on this game, you have to feel like RNG already wanted to take it relatively late by the looks of their playing game 1. Now they could very well set up to do so.
This is such a dangerous prospect. There's actually no way for Republic to be able to group with the team. If he takes an Ash Arrow, he's going to die. They've got a Fizz to catch people out. The Thresh Hook also. RNG's composition is crazy.
Public actually try and look for a picker onto Lei, forces the flash out of the Thresh. Teleport's going to come in immediately from Let Me. They're just going to continue sieging up this mid lane. Something I really like about Name here, he's built Banshee's Veil as his third item. We talked about how it just looked like he was going to completely die every single time people ran at him. Early game, they put a lot of pressure on him. Only took 1 kill. Now he's got the Banshee's Veil. It's going to be even harder for someone like the likes of Republic or even Rabbit to take him down.
Interestingly enough, though, goes for that over the QSS, which is more efficient in item builds because he's now missing out on that lifesteal and a bit of extra damage that it provides you. So needs the health, needs the utility on the shield to position himself more aggressively, not to get out of what is aggression from EPA.
Yep, it's again just another Name thing. Stay in the fight as long as possible, use my positioning well, and I'm going to do more damage than any other carry. That was always the way he wanted to play, and I feel like still old habits die hard here. As he even did go the boots 2 rush again. Good to see. But EPA is just trying to keep these waves back away from their turrets. And honestly, just find anything on this map. 1 turret, 1 pick, 1-1 team fight. And this game could flip very quickly. But RNG, very slow, methodical game. But right now, it's been working out wonders.
And we indeed saw how quickly a game can flip after the last game. RNG were down 8,000 gold, able to turn it around a couple of times even. Gonna have to see if EPA can do the same. They don't really have Master Yi here. They still do have a lot of damage coming out from their Fiora, their LeBlanc, even Elise and Kalista dealing tons of damage in this game.
So what they will have, though, is a Rot Portal by the time the 5th Dragon is available to be taken by RNG. Very smart decision. Control side lanes. Means you can manipulate the map more effectively and actually take down that objective. What I want to see, though... Oh, no. Yeah, what I want to see... You guys just stop hitting people for a second so I can talk. Is EPA take down the outer turrets. Work bottom, have Fiora split. Sure, Republic, I understand what EPA are trying to do. Now they've actually got time because the Dragon's not up in a minute. If they can break the turrets, get a big spike of gold in their back pockets before the fight's there, they're at least more equipped to win it.
Well, no TP up for RNG either, so Baron is a real threat with Gimgoon in the bottom lane. Name's going to check it. Hawkshot's going to see they're not up to it right now. But Name has a lot of gold to spend here. RNG have to be careful around the Baron, as InSec's once again going to eat the Winter's Bite and the Cocoon. Gimgoon will finally get the first turret of the game for EPA, though. It's that bottom outer. And it's much needed gold.
Yeah, there it is.
Oof. Gonna look for the pick onto Lei here. Lei taking a lot of damage. Doesn't have flash available. Tries to lock down Republic. Teleport even used by Gimgoon, so... This might be the go button for the Baron buff. EPA going to start this one up.
Still risky. You have to remind yourself there are ults available for the 4 members there. See if they can make it work.
They kind of had to start it, but it could cost them here. Let Me is going to pill them into the pit, but they are going to try and finish it. They've got arrows in it, but there's another arrow out onto Braum, and he's going to get Fates called out, but Rabbit just gets absolutely destroyed. The damage is a little too much, and they are diving in onto Name. Gimgoon, though, can't quite finish it off, as Sasuke's already got himself a double kill. Now Moon is going to be the target as InSec and Fish just go straight on top of his face. Fizz, I meant, but a Fish there. Republic look for the assassination, but doesn't get it. He's going to look for something now, though, but he face checks everyone else, almost dies to a crit, and Sus is going to make sure he dies this time. There's the ace, there's the Baron. RNG win everything there.
Tell me that did not feel like desperate out of EPA. They made a single pick, they had control, but that control was waning. RNG, they make them pay for it.
And you talked about this earlier, Rusty. EPA seemed to tunnel on Baron quite frequently. It looked like it once again. They only got a pick onto Lei, and as soon as RNG turned the corner, it just looked like they were half-hearted between peeling off Baron and taking it down. What was going through their head?
They just had no other option. I just feel like the clock was ticking. Right now, there's a minute till Dragon. If they didn't go for the Baron, they would have done nothing from that pick. Honestly, they should have just grouped and taken down turrets sooner. But EPA, they forced this, and even the ultimate used on Jay-Z, even the Fish ultimate used on him, and RNG still managed to come out ahead in these fights. Sasuke's just chilling in the backline. No one can kill Let Me because he is the Trundle with his ultimate. He's never going down. And they kill the front line before they kill the back line, and even then, they still bait Republic into a nice body slam from InSec to actually stop the second distortion. Easy work here from Sasuke.
the same time, RNG this entire fight had Baron on their team.
I just realized what happened. I didn't notice that.
The sweeping lens?
No, I think the Mimic came back and gave him Q range so he could auto her.
Was it? I thought it was just a flash Q.
He didn't have flash. I think he used it. Anyway, fight breaking out. We'll check in later. Jay-Z once again under threat. His Lay does land a hook, but now Jay-Z's going to get aggressive. Fates calls back in, pops the ultimate, but he's going to go down to InSec. And then Sass going to dive in onto Gimgoon, who melts under all the damage of RNG. Republic's clone going to try and juke them out, but it's not enough as Moon dies as well. And Sass first Republic once again. Republic's going to try and get himself out of the way. As Let Me chasing down, run down, and Sass just going to delay the back. Doesn't really matter too much here. As RNG just want to make sure they get some structures. This Republic still on a grand adventure. Very smooth moves to get out there.
He's just laughing. But speaking of adventures, here's Rabbit.
Hello. Spider is going to try and build herself a web somewhere else. Fifth Dragon's gone away, so Let Me, not to say, Rabbit doesn't care, just farming up the Krugs inside the opposition jungle. Surrender does come out.
I mean, fun at the end there for EPA, but it is going to be a win for Royal. Much cleaner game number 2 as they pick a little bit more standard and really just show off that, you know, decent landing phase can keep up with some of the early aggression. And then just really strong team fighting it. EPA felt like they had to pull the trigger. They did. It cost them dearly. And in a few minutes after that, they will forfeit the game and lose the series 0-2 as RNG. A new look here. R&B have been calling them. I like it. The subs finally getting to play a game. And hey, a win they wanted here in this series. A different lineup, but a 2-0 nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, basically they showed that RNG's B team is still capable. And isn't that a scary prospect? They're on the bench, and they can still take out teams. And EPA, they're a middle-of-the-pack roster. Doesn't matter. 2-0.
And we saw when HYG previously, they brought on Chimin as their new jungler. He had a massive impact. That's the only person we were talking about the entire time after their game. EPA just brought on a new AD carry being Moon, and he just hasn't come into discussion here. It felt like he didn't have that impact that we saw Chimin have for HYG, but I still thought he played okay. We saw at the end of that game, he looked devastated. He was just staring at his screen after the loss.
I think Moon actually played really well for a new AD carry. His Lucian game was super solid. Kalista looked just fine there. But again, RNG, they're a team that pretty much win and lose together, even though regular starting roster is a very similar looking way.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, again, especially after game 1 with the Master Yi shenanigans, they just played a lot more normal, and it really just felt like a clinic from them towards the end.
And to be fair, Chimin stands out because he won. And you're never going to stand out in a losing game as this new player coming into the roster with like this standout performance. So to be fair, he did his job. Moon, even in defeat, performed soundly. Whereas RNG, with the whole new roster, they overperformed.
And it almost felt like EPA, they did perform soundly at certain stages of the game. Laning phase always comes to mind. We always talk about how EPA, coming from the LSPL, they know how to lane really effectively, and they did just that. Game 1, 8,000 got in the lead. Got a little bit lost, didn't know what to do. InSec played that fantastically. They picked up the game. Game 2, great laning phase again. Didn't have that huge lead we saw from game 1, but still, 2,000 gold up. Didn't know what to do after that, and slowly RNG just took it back. So it felt like the players on EPA were playing quite solid at certain stages, but it just slowly fell apart.
I think it just comes back to not having a late game strategy. It's just one thing that EPA has always done, and game number 1, they focused on Baron 2 out. They tunneled on the Baron. And just like that, the lead was dissipated through one team fight because it hit late game. Late game, all that matters is one team fight. Whereas in game number 2, it was a desperation Baron. It was still a Baron, but it was a desperate one this time around because they already had the gold deficit in their favor. It just feels like to them, Baron is God. Like, they need to get the Baron to win the game.
And I think, kind of looking at the game, we expected this coming into the expected matchup, given that if what MLXG was playing, when the Star RNG were playing, that we'd maybe get a similar result. I think even with InSec in the lineup, Rabbit was just a world of difference as far as jungle pressure was concerned. And I will say, even with the Master Yi game in that match history, and I know it was a win, InSec, he actually played really well. Like, even in the Yi game, he did what he needed to do. Really solid Gragas. You said it was almost night and day, Rusty, where game 1, getting Devour stacks, game 2, just vision everywhere. Like, 2 completely different junglers almost.
Yeah, you might say night and day with champions as well as playstyles, to be fair. So Gragas, very good gank-heavy champion, wants to control vision, and that is entirely what InSec did. He was a vision man from start to finish, whereas game 1, you got a Devourer. Yeah, vision's important, but it's defensive vision. You don't want people ganking you in your jungle. You actually want to scale, and that's where the contrast lies. Is even in game 1, he was still placing vision, but EPA were focusing on where the hell is InSec. Let's stop him from farming. EPA's strategy wasn't InSec is weak. Let's actually